the Andromedans, the rulers, the enforcers of the law had gathered. Captain Marcos of the good ship Pristine, under Marcos' command, was headed starboard toward the Fantastic Kingdom. Star date X22-1. The Arcturan vessel from the Arcturian science fleet, the Prism, commanded by Nereus. The Prism had entered the Fantastic Realm territory. In fact, there were many gathering just outside. To the point that intervention was soon necessary by the Andremedan Council. The Sirians, led by Wuko, were gathering as well. It was apparent that something was about to happen. So many forces were gathering together all around the rim of the Fantastic Realm's space territory. Marshal Swetan's ship, the Nirvana, along with Oliver, had arrived as well, and Marcos had decided it was time for a conference. And he arranged for the Sirians, along with the Limerians and Crook, to have a meeting. There's a time and a place for everything. And this was indeed the time for action. And the Andromedans had decided to arrange at least some effort for negotiations and talks before the most dreaded action of all, that of war, would be necessary. But it was becoming apparent that that would be the case. Edward, aboard the Andromedan ship, the Pristine, commanded by Marcos, is attempting to connect with Crook of the Limerian command. Andrea of the Andremedan Council will be the moderator if all goes well with our negotiations. And Crook, of course, is now connecting to Edward.
Well, how are you doing, Crook? I think to thank you very much for meeting with me here. I've managed to get aboard the ship Pristine of the Andromedans. It is quite noble of you to speak before necessarily acting rashly. Don't you agree, Crook?
Edward and Crook, who have the floor.
Just a moment, if you don't mind, Sirius. I am Marcos, and I must stipulate that Edward speaks for himself and not the council.
Well, Crook, I speak for myself, but I speak for my people of the Fantastic Realm, and I assure you that we're all in unison, and that alone should be worthy of note. Yes, I am Captain Marcos of the good ship Pristine, the Andremedan vessel, and I've allowed Edward to speak on his behalf of his people, but we're also united. Crook.
And I have only to say that talk is for cowards, and we are not cowards. We are Limerians, and I am their prime director. But since you cowards insist on speaking, I will tolerate it.
Madam Chair, allow me to state that Croc does not speak for the Sirians, and I, Sirius, will be allowed to speak after him.
Agreed, but Edward and Croc shall speak now.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As representatives of the Limerians, we have our objectives and we're not required to disclose our very motives or actions unless we desire.
Crook, we all know that the Limerians think of the Limerians first. And sometimes that's not quite the way it should be.
As you know, Edward, the Limerians are out for their own gain.
Well, let me tell you, Crook, and let me tell you quite assuredly, there's nothing to be gained from the ways of war, and certainly not against the land of the fantastic realm. And I shall show you that, and no negotiations shall change that very fact. Now, Crook, I am very delighted that you agreed to talk. I think it shows a sign of wisdom, something that I should wish upon all of you, and certainly myself. The wisdom says, Crook, that the doings that we detected must be stopped.
Really, Edward? It must be stopped, must we? Well, who exactly do you recommend as who do you suggest does it stop us, the Limerians, Edward? Really? Edward and the Andromedans are here to hold our feet to the fire, and we must be stopped. Don't you know that's the whole purpose of war? You must stop us, then perhaps you should. If you could, that is.
Gentlemen, I must demand that we keep this at a professional level. I must insist.
Madam Chair, must I remind you that Limerians are professional fighters. So if you want us to be professional, you shouldn't be detaining us with this cowardly talk. Now, as to what we're doing.
Madam Chair, I must object to this line of conversation. We will not stand here and be humiliated with belligerent bastards.
Gentlemen, I demand order. We must conduct these proceedings to some sort of fruition. For example, our purposes for gathering here are to determining why there are so many.
Madam Chair, I object to this line of proceedings. We are here to try to propagate peace. That is what we all desire, surely.
Peace? Peace? From you, Sirius?
Madam Chair, as the arcturian representative, I must say that we are currently involved in very peaceful exploration with our science ships in the fantastic realm. I agree with Sirius that we're all here for peace. Don't you agree, Madam Chair?
What we shall have is order, and that is what we shall have.
Momentarily, the Limerians excel in knowledge of electrical, gravitational, as well as mechanical energy, and they've used it only for their own benefit. And now we see that many others of like mind have gathered in great force. And the arcturans, with their vast knowledge of electrical, mechanical, as well as sound energy. The Pleiadians, with their chemical mastery, the nuclear and photon and knowledge of motion. And the Sirians, with their radiant thermal expertise, with their green saucers. Madam Chair, the fantastic realm has been surrounded by many expertise and many peoples of great accomplishments. However, their motivations are entirely for their own gain, and the act of war is upon us, and we must discuss some alternative, surely.
I did not come here to listen to cowardly babble. Now surely if there are some complaints, legal complaints about activities of the Limerians, surely someone should discuss it now.
Crook, we know you have your warships on the fantastic realm's surfaces. This is absolutely documentable. Now what do you have to say for yourself in that regard? Exactly.
Madam Chair, the Limerians and the sirians have united in some scientific explorations, and we have all legal permissions to do so.
Madam Chair, the Limerians and the Sirians are no more involved in science exploration in the fantastic realm. Not at all. Madam Chair, the Lord Luau of the fantastic realm has provided me with evidence that there are warships with hostile purposes at the moment on the surface of the fantastic realm. This cannot be tolerated, Madam Chair.
Swetan, do you have any documented evidence of those claims?
Madam Chair, as the Prime Director for the Limerians, I can absolutely attest that we are only on the fantastic realm for scientific investigations approved by even the Andremedan. Madam Chair, as a scientific officer for the sirians, Viceroy Luco, I assure you, I am a scientist.
Viceroy Luco, I am aware of your scientific accomplishments. However, these charges must be addressed.
Madam Chair, it is of vital importance that I relay to you my specific knowledge of numerous Limerian ships have been detected by Lord Luau, and their capacities could certainly be used for war. Madam Chair, as you know, the evil one, Arcturans, has been held captive in the fantastic realm and the catacombs. We believe that all these scientific endeavors, a subterfuge for trying to plot a scheme to release the evil one, who is in his normal and rightful place, in the depths of the catacombs where he should remain forever.
Those are serious charges, Edward. I should like to see some of this proof that you speak of.
Madam Chair, might
I have
a moment?
to
emphasize that it is impossible to retrieve Optimus from
his location.
and
This is an
insult to the
scientific
community.
It has
Done so much
goodwill
and good work
work
all over
the entire
star
system.
Madam Chair, as the Limerian Prime Director, I shall formally protest this charge. All of our doings in the fantastic realm are of a scientific nature, and we shall not be offended and insulted in this manner.
Madam Chair, the sirians, with their radiant and thermal motion technology, are the leaders in such prototypes, and they could certainly use the magnetic field of the fantastic realm to accomplish some very ill. Madam Chair, I will show you the documents, the proof that the doings of the Limerians in particular are warlike and have no relation to any scientific investigations whatsoever. And I shall prove that in the court of law here in the Andremedan Council.
And so, although communication with all the forces they had gathered was somewhat tense and terse, Edward and Skeetar and the Andremedan Council were determined to get to the bottom of the affairs and doings in the fantastic realm. Were the Limerians and the Sirians truly conducting scientific investigations, or something much worse? And so the Limerians, the Arcturans, the Pleiadians, and the Sirians, and many others, and all the comrades involved on the premise of scientific investigation, nonetheless have much hardware and much capacity aimed directly at the fantastic realm. And the Council of the Andromeda has met and are at this moment deciding whether the Andromedan Council should involve their own military power to solve this matter. Be sure to stay tuned to the next episode of Oliver